The Second Amendment is not what gives you your right to keep and bear arms. I had this conversation recently with another veteran, and I've had this conversation a lot with people who've reached out to me regarding the Second Amendment, freedom, good stuff like that. So what seems to be the misunderstanding is that people believe the Second Amendment is what gives you that right. It's given to you by the government, right? If it's given to you, that means they can take it from you. So if I can hopefully try to clear up a little bit of that, it might be doing some good. We'll see. To start off, a little bit of information on the Second Amendment. It was ratified December 15th, 1791. It simply states, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. What that means real quick is well-regulated militia. That is any able-bodied person 16 to 60, or it's 18 to 45. It's one of the two. They're a private citizen who would essentially answer the call to protect, safeguard, defend the country, the state, the Constitution, against would-be attackers, tyrants, stuff like that. The being necessary to the security of a free state, that's just simply reiterating that armed men and women, an armed populace, is what is necessary to keep us free. That's what that second little piece says. The right of the people to keep and bear arms. That's once again recognizing that you have this right. It was not given to you by the government. You already have it. And then, of course, the keep and bear arms part means you get to keep them. You don't have to give them up. They're yours. And then the bearing arms part. The cool thing about arms is it's kind of a blanket statement. And it kind of stands the test of time, meaning arms will work for many, many years. I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows at this time what could be used to strip that, right? So arms, at least my interpretation of it, is any object. You've got a hand grenade laying around. You have a knife, a firearm, pistol, shotgun, rifle, all that good stuff. You got a sweet revolver, or you got a brick, you got mace, whatever arms is I believe it's whatever you deem necessary to use to defend yourself, your property, your neighbors, your family, all that good stuff. So in the shall not be infringed. So I'd like to start off with shall. Shall is kind of a legal term. I don't know the exact definition of it, but I can speak to an example. So most of you that follow me know I'm from Iowa. I am a volunteer for the Iowa Farms Coalition, and back in 2010, up until 2010, Iowa was a may issue state when it comes to issuing permits to carry. 2010 is when that changed. So in 2010, there was 40,000 permits to carry. Today, there's over 400,000. And now we're a shall issue state. So when it was under a may issue, that means it was under the discretion of the sheriff. He may issue it, he may not. There's discretion there. So if he didn't like you, if it was a cop who didn't want civilians to own firearms, which that happens, unfortunately. If you just didn't like you, it was a small town, and maybe you just weren't a good person sometimes. Maybe he wasn't. He was whatever. I gotta get into that kind of stuff. So now we are a shall issue. So unless you can't pass a background check or there's other underlying circumstances, they have to issue you a permit to carry, right? Which now we've got constitutional carry, but you can still get a permit. So that's kind of the explanation on shall and the shall not be infringed, right? It's a command versus it being a suggestion, like may or will, or I don't know, whatever else they may have used. And of course, shall not be infringed. Infringe meaning violate. They may not, or they will not, they shall not, they cannot violate your right to keep and bear arms. That pretty much sums it up. So What the Second Amendment truly is, what it all comes down to, is it's a restriction on the government. It's recognizing that you already have this right to keep and bear arms. They're just restricting the government, stating that the government cannot restrict that right. And that's about as simple as anyone can make it. If you want to like, subscribe, comment, if there's anything you want to add, feel free. I'm not an attorney. I'm not trying to give advice, but this is just simple knowledge. The Second Amendment is a very simple, broken down sentence that I know a lot of people like to pick apart. One instance that, sorry, I kind of lost my place there. So one thing I wanted to touch on was well-regulated militia. Some people who kind of are against the Second Amendment, usually they're against freedom as well, right? They want to repeal the entire Constitution, tear it apart. So the well-regulated militia is their private citizens. Some would have you believe that well-regulated means highly restricted or registered. Now, that's not the case. If you look up the Supreme Court case, DC versus Heller, or Heller versus DC, page 23, you'll see that the Supreme Court specified that it means proper discipline and training, right? So it should go without saying that if you carry a firearm, especially everyday carry, you need to be disciplined. You need to be trained. You have the discipline to know those shoot or no shoot scenarios, or what level of lethal force should be warranted, as well as the training. You should know that in that instance where you've got to draw your firearm, fire your arm, use your arm, I should say here, use whatever arms. So you should have good training on that. You should be confident in your ability to handle that situation without harming innocent people. That's the end of it there. So in closing, all gun laws are infringements, and if you'd please like, comment, subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And have a good night.